July is International Zine Month. This is a celebration that was started by Alex Reck, who is the author of The Stolen Sharpie Revolution. My first plan to celebrate International Zine Month was to post daily shorts of myself reading my zines from my back catalog. The only problem is that I filmed the first one and it was 3 minutes long. Oops. So instead, I'm going to be posting those zine readings every Tuesday. And I've got enough zines that I think I'm just going to go until I run out. So definitely until the end of the year. That's the thing about daily projects. You try, you adapt. I love doing daily zine projects. Sometimes I do weekly projects. You have to find what works for you. So if you're thinking about setting yourself a project, I've got some tips. Number one is that you have to make the time. You have to put it onto your calendar somehow. You have to set yourself a timer, whether that's on your phone or with some kind of kitchen timer. Whatever works for you to tell yourself, this is the time when I'm working on my zine. This is actually why I love live streaming. You hit that button and the whole internet can see you. You can't just stand up and walk away. I've got to sit there and actually finish what I said I was going to do. It's funny, in that way, it's kind of like getting into the shower or going to bed. I never want to start, but once I'm in, I don't want to leave. Number two is that you have to set yourself a deadline. The first time I really did a project like this was in 2015. I told myself I was going to make one zine every week for an entire year. So 52 zines was my goal. But that first month, I only made 2. I didn't actually get it done until I gave the project a name. I called it Sunday Zine. And what that meant is that it was going to be done by Sunday. Every week, I was going to make a zine. I gave myself that limit, a kind of creative restraint, lines that I could color in. Sometimes that meant that I made my zine literally 11 p.m. on Sunday night, but I did make it. One of the zines that I made, in fact, actually the last zine that I made is this one. It's called How to Make a Zine a Week for 365 Days. This was going to be the first one that I read. And then I realized this could actually be a whole video. So I'm going to read it for you right now. Pick a day and make a promise. Get the layout right, or don't write a linear zine. It's very forgiving. Make a list before you start. Number 1, cover. Number 2, pick a day. Number 3, everything counts. Number 4, make a list. Number 5, use what you have. Number 6, layout. Number 7, print, trim, staple. Number 8, mail. Use what you have. 8.5 by 11 white copy paper, Sharpies, a printer, stapler, and scissors, if that's all you have. Buy a fancy paper trimmer when you know that you'll want to make more. Everything can be a zine. Everything counts. Everything fits between 8 pages. Everything. Print, fold, trim, staple, sign, stamp. Mail to all your friends and customers, read and enjoy. This was the very last zine that I made at the end of a very long year. My number 3 tip is make a template. So that zine there is, like I said, made out of one piece of 8.5 by 11 paper. It is folded twice, it is trimmed, it is stapled. That's what I decided I was going to make. I wasn't going to make every kind of zine, I was only going to make one. I was going to make that 8-page, quarter-size zine, and that was it. So the only thing I had to do was fill those 8 pages. That's another creative constraint that can help you with your work. What I had done is I had set myself a goal, and then I had made a definition of what success looked like. I knew I was done when those 8 pages were full. Even if I wanted to write more, I couldn't. I would just have to wait until the next week. Number 4 is make a plan. Specifically, I wrote here, make a list. That's just because I love making lists. I have a list of all the zines that I want to read, and each one of them has a little checkbox that I get to tick off when I'm done filming. This is the idea behind International Zine Month, which comes with a list of daily actions for you, ways that you can celebrate zines. It's the same idea behind Inktober, which is where artists draw something every single day based on a communal list of prompts. So they're all drawing the same thing, but in their own way. We also have Mermay, which is where everyone draws a mermaid every day of the month. But to be honest, and here's tip number 5, you don't have to plan at all. You don't have to make a list. I set myself a daily project in August 2018, and I didn't make any plan. I did not make a list of ideas or topics. I barely even set my constraints. The only idea that I had was that I was going to make something in pages that could be downloaded as a PDF. A lot of them were actually games that I made that month. I made the time, I sat down, and I made a thing. It was a lot more flexible than my Sunday zine project, but it was still so much fun. A lot of times what happens with these projects is that these old ideas start bubbling up. Ideas that have been there, but only now that you've given yourself the time and the limits, now you can turn those ideas into reality. A lot of the zines that I'm going to be reading this month and beyond are zines that I made during these projects. During the month of August when I was making those daily PDFs, or in 2015 when I was making one zine every week. What that means is that all of them were made in a single day, and many of them were made in a single hour. And if that sounds interesting to you, you can watch me live on stream every Sunday morning when I make a zine. And sometimes I'm gonna make some games too. I've got a whole playlist of all my past live streams, and most of those zines you can also download right now. All those links are in the description down below. And I'll see you next Tuesday when I'm reading another zine from my archives.